Hari Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryan Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we continue with our study of Brahma-saṁhitā. In the beginning, we will repeat the verses, the prayers. Just we will start with the famous Ishvara Parama Krishna verse. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Vriksha Laksha Vriteshu Suravira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam Brahma Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Panantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Barhavatam Samasita Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandra Kalasadvana Madhya Vamshi Ratnagadam Pranayakeli Kalavilasam Shyamam Tribangalalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vritimanti Pasyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti Ananda chinmaya sadujvala vigrahasya Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Advaitam achyutam anadi manantarupam Adyam purana purusham navayauvanam cha Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhaktau Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Pantastu koti satavatsara sampragamyo Vayo ratapi manaso muni pungavanam Sopyasti yat prapadasinya vichintya tatre Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Eko Bihasa Rachayitum Jagadanta Kotim Yachaktirasti Jagadanta Chayayadanta Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yad bhava bhavita diyo manujastataiva Samprapya rupa mahima sanayana bhusha Shuktaryameva nikama pratitastuvanti Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Ananda chinmaya rasa pratibhavita vis Tabhirya eva nicharupataya kalavi Goloka eva nivasatya kilatma bhuto Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena Santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti Yam Shyama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ramadimurti Shukalani Yamena Tishtam Nanavataram Akarudbhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramapumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanta Koti Kotishvashesha Vasudadi Vibhuti Vinam Tad Brahma Nishkalamanantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Maya Hiyasya Jagadanda Satani Sute Traigunyatad Vishaya Veda Vikayamana Sattva Valambi Parasattvam Vishuddha Sattvam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ananda Chinmaya Rasatmadaya Manasu Yat Praninam Pratipalam Smaratam Upetya Lilainena Bhuvanani Jayati Ajashram Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Golokanam Nijadam Nidale Chatasya Devi Mahesha Haridama Suteshu Teshu Te Te Prabhavan Chaya Vihidaschayena Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Srishti Smriti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Jayya Yasya Bhuvanani Vibhati Durga Ichanurupamapi Yasya Chachishtate Sa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Shriram Yathada Vivikara Vishesha Yoga Sanjayate Nahitata Pritakasti Hetu Yat Sambhutam Abhitata Samupaiti Karya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Deeparchideva Hidasantaramabhupetya Deepayate Vivrita Hetu Samana Dharma Yastadrikeva Hicha Vishnu Taya Vibhati Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yat Karanarnava Jale Bhajati Sma Yoga Nidramananda Jagadanda Saroma Kupa Adhara Shakti Mavalambya Param Swamurtim Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yasyai Kanishpasita Kala Matavalambya Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagadantanata Vishnur Mahansa Ikayasya Kala Vishesho Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Vasvanyatasma Sakaleshu Nijeshu Teja Sviyam Kiyat Prakatayatya Tvatatra Brahmaya Esha Jagadanda Vidana Karta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yat Padapala Vayugam Vinidaya Kumbha Dvandve Pranama Samaye Saganadiracha Vignam Vihantu Mama Asya Jagatrayasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Agir Mahi Gaganamambu Maruddhishascha Kalastatatma Manasiti Jagatrayani Yasmat bhavanti vibhavanti vishanti yam cha Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Ya chakshuresha savita sakala grahanam Raja samasta suramurti rashesha teja Yasya gyaya brahmati sambrita kala chakro Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Dharmo tapapa nichaya shrutayastapamsi Brahma dikita pataga vadayascha jiva Yadata mantra vibhava prakata pravava Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Yastvendra gopa matavendra mahosvakarma Bandhanurupa palabhajanam atlanoti Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti vajam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Yad krodha kama sahaja pranayadi viti Vatsalya moha guru gaurava sevya bhavai Sanchintyatasya sadrishim tanuma purete Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravam Druni Bhumimshchinta Mani Ganamai Toyamamritam Kataganam Natyam Gamanam Apivamshi Priya Sakhi Chidanandam Jyoti Param Apitat Ashvaryam Apicha Sayatra Kshirabdi Shravati Surabhivyascha Sumahan Nimesharda Kyo Vavrajati Nahi Yatrapi Samaya Vaje Shveta Dvipam Tamahamiha Golokam Vityam Vidantaste Shanta Shri Virala Chara Katipaye. Brahma-saṁhitā ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, little bit just to remind ourselves what we were speaking yesterday. Basically, we read few quotes from Srila Prabhupada, from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Bhakti-yoga Thakur, where they were glorifying and appreciating the importance of this scripture, Brahma-saṁhitā, and they were explaining how it gives all the conclusions from the Achintya Veda Tattva philosophy or Vaishnava philosophy in a very short way. So basically, just by studying this one chapter of Brahma-saṁhitā, one can become familiar very much with the whole Vedanta philosophy. And also Jiva Goswami was explaining that although it is known that this book, this Samhita, has 100 chapters, and we have only one of those chapters, still it is not that it is incomplete. Yes, it's incomplete, or there is some problem, because all the conclusions are given in this one chapter. So it's like a full, complete book on itself. And then Jiva Goswami started explaining the first verse from Brahma-saṁhitā, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchitananda Vigraha, Anadi Radhi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So we went through explanation of few of the words. Of course, first word explained was Krishna, and the meaning of the word was explained. Few meanings actually were given. Krish, it may mean existence, who controls all, everybody, and the person who is attractive to all. These are all different meanings of Krishna. And then Na means bliss. Krishna who is full of bliss, or he who is the cause of bliss in others, in everybody else. And then Srila Prabhupada was giving the additional meaning. Krishna may mean the one who checks the repetition of birth and death. So this is also another meaning of Krishna. And then we were discussing a little bit about the meaning of Ishvara. Ishvara means controller, ultimate controller of all things. And it was mentioned that the meaning of this word is actually already automatically included in the meaning of the word Krishna. And in one place, Śrīla Jiva Goswami very nicely refuted the argument. Some people are saying that actually Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is rather incarnation of Vishnu. And Jiva Goswami gives a quote in which it is said that if someone repeats 1,000 times the name of Vishnu, this is like he repeats 1 time the name of Rama. And if someone repeats 3 times the name of Rama, this is like equal to saying 1 time Krishna. So that means 1 name of Krishna is equal to 3,000 names of Vishnu. So then how it is that Krishna is incarnation of Vishnu? Then the name of Vishnu should be more powerful than the name of Krishna. So in this way, Śrīla Jiva Goswami is explaining that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the top. He is the highest. And now we continue with the meaning of the word Parama. So sometimes Parama is taken as supreme, Ishvara Parama, Krishna, that Krishna is the supreme, Ishvara, the supreme controller. But also here Śrīla Jiva Goswami will give additional understanding about this word. As revealed by Shri Jiva in this section, the first verse of Brahma-saṁhitā also makes mention of the Lord's feminine energy. The word Parama means the Lord who possesses the most excellent para, Shaktis, in the form of Lakshmis. These Shaktis are described in the Bhagavatam. So the word Parama also refers to the Shaktis of the Lord, the energies of the Lord. The Lord, performer of inconceivable, constantly remained in each of his queen's palaces, which were unequaled and unexcellent by any other residence. Yes, sir. Okay, so let's read one more time. The Lord, performer of inconceivable, constantly remained in each of his queen's palaces, which were unequaled and unexcelled by any other residence. There, although fully satisfied within himself, he enjoyed with his pleasing wives, and like an ordinary husband, he carried out his household duties. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 59, 43. And then another quote. When Lord Shri Krishna was dancing with the gopis in the Rasa Lila, the gopis were embraced by the arms of the Lord. This transcendental favor was never bestowed upon the goddess of fortune or other consorts in the spiritual world. Indeed, never was such a thing even imagined by the most beautiful girls in the heavenly planets, whose bodily luster and aroma resemble the lotus flower. And what to speak of worldly women who are very beautiful according to material estimation. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47-60.
So here it says that Krishna enjoys the company of the best transcendental women of the whole universe. I mean, the whole creation. So it's not possible that he will be attracted by any material thing because he has the best. If you enjoy the best pleasure, you will never, the kingly opulence, you will never be attracted by ordinary persons, whatever they do. Yes.
Then we have another quote from the last verses we just read from Brahma-saṁhitā. Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha. In Goloka reside the beautiful young women and their lover, the supreme male. And then we have quote from Gopala Tapani Upanishad. Krishna is the Lord endowed with many energies in the form of gopis. Since Krishna alone is Parama, endowed with such energies, he is called Adi, first. Big Darshani Tika 5.1. So the Lord has unlimited energies, but from the great acharyas, they are classified mainly in three. We know material energy, marginal energy, these are the living entities, and then spiritual energy. And we have a verse in Bhagavad Gita, Aparayam itastvanyam prakriti vidime param. So the living entities and the spiritual energy of the Lord is known as para. Para means transcendental or spiritual. We are also spiritual energy, and the spiritual energy of the Lord is also spiritual. And the idea is that, first, that's why the word para is used here. Parama, Ishvara, Parama, Krishna. Krishna, who is the owner of all spiritual energies. At the end, all the energies of the Lord are spiritual, because material energies, they are actually a reflection of the spiritual energies of the Lord. But the idea is that the lower energy, the living entities, because they are also spiritual, transcendental energy, they are higher than the material energy. So we are higher than the material energy. Then one may ask, but then how it is possible the living entities who are higher energy become influenced by the lower energy, by the material energy? And the answer that the acharyas are giving is because we are very, very small. If we were not, it would not be possible. But because we are very, very small, example is given like the sun and the small rays of the sun. So like the rays of the sun, it's made from many, many, many small sparks. Or fire and the small sparks that are coming from the fire. Like if you have a huge fire, it's very difficult to extinguish it, yes? But if you have a small sparks, then very easy. So our spiritual nature, or we can say our spiritual enthusiasm, can be extinguished easily when we become in contact with material energy. That's why, because we are very small, we can be influenced by the material energy. Okay, then next word from the verse.
I just remember the Ultima Maharaj once he was explaining this point that Krishna enjoys in the spiritual world the best of everything, and he was giving an example. Krishna plays the flute in the middle of the night, and the most beautiful women come, and they have transcendental bodies. So what happens when you play the flute in the middle of the night? Who comes? Try and see who will come. Go in the middle of the town and play your flute at 12 o'clock, and let's see who comes. This was his way of, in a funny way, to explain that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer and we're dependent on him. You cannot compete with Krishna in anything, in romance, in enjoyment, wealth, influence, you name it. Just
Nice. Anadir Adi. Jiva Goswami explains this phrase thus. Since Krishna alone is Parama, endowed with such energies, he is called Adi, first. One should not think that being first or Adi means that Krishna is simply a form that appears in the material world. To make this clear, the word Anadi is also used. This indicates that the form appearing in the material world as Krishna is an eternal form existing in the spiritual world. Gopalotapani Upanishad thus says, Nityo Nityanam Chetanash Chetananam. He is the chief eternal being and the chief conscious being. So, Anadiradi means that his origin is not in the material world. His form is completely transcendental, spiritual, without beginning, Adi.
Because somebody can say, well, Adi means in the beginning, that means he just appeared, just like Brahma appeared, the first thing. But he has origin, and we know the material creation has beginning and end. So the fact that he is the first one here in this realm doesn't mean that he is supreme God, the supreme Lord. So, therefore, Anadi. All these forms, avatars of Krishna that come here, they have spiritual origin. I mean, they are all spiritual, but they have spiritual planet. Their pastimes are eternal, like Ramachandra, Krishna. It seems that they appear, Krishna is born, and then he disappears, but this is just the Prakat Lila, the manifested pastimes, but they are unmanifest pastimes, and they are eternal. And they are not always perceived by us, but nonetheless, they are eternal. So this is the answer to this doubt.
Sometimes people they are asking, okay, I understand that your explanation that Krishna is the cause for this one, Krishna is the cause for the planet, for the world, for the people, but who is the cause of Krishna? Who created Krishna? Sometimes people they ask this question. Well, the answer is in this verse, Anadi. Nobody created him. He was always there, and he is the beginning of everything else, but nobody is the cause for Krishna to appear. That's the idea, Anadir Adir. And then another part of this verse is Sarva Karana Karnam. Jiva Goswami explains, because of his status as first, he is called Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes. He is the cause of even the creator of the material realm, the Purusha Avatara. Who is Purusha Avatara?
Brahma.
Purusha Avatara? Yes, the different Vishnu forms. This is Purusha Avatara. So Krishna is even the cause for different forms of Vishnu, who are the creators of this world. Devaki says to Krishna in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, O soul of all that be, the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the universe are all carried out by a fraction of an expansion of your expansion, the Purusha Avatara. Yasyamsha amsha amsha bhagyena Vishvodpati layodaya. Today I have come to take shelter of you, the Supreme Lord. So Krishna, he is the cause of all kinds of amsha. Amsha is Sanskrit words for part. So from Krishna, so many parts are appearing, so many incarnations, so many manifestations. And Krishna is the Sarva Karna Karnam, origin of all these different manifestations.
Shall we explain the different causes?
Yeah. Explain it in not so technical.
So there are Even in the Greek philosophy, there is a classification of 4 main causes of everything that exists. So the first one is the material cause. Let's say we have a building, and this building is built by different materials like sand or bricks, cement. So this is the material cause of the building. So this is called nimitta karma. And then we have efficient cost. Efficient cost means you hire a company to build your house. Okay, somebody assembles all these materials. They're already there. They purchase from the market and they assemble them in a particular way. So the company, the building company is the efficient cost. And then there is a formal cost. Formal cost means the building has certain design. That means the architect, the designer, he drew a blueprint of the building. And according to this design, the engineers, and the builders, they build the house. So this is the formal cost, because the house has certain form. And there is, at the end, final cost. Final cost means what is the house, what is the purpose of this house? And who knows the purpose? You know, because it is, you want to build your house for your family, or you want to build something for your business. So these 4 causes, Krishna is all of those, because he is the origin of the material creation. Maya Dekshana Prakriti Sute Sacharam Hetu Namina Kantya Jagat Viparivarte. Krishna explains in Gita. Also, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Matak Sarvam Pravakte. I am the origin of all material and spiritual creations, and they work under my supervision. So he's the material cause. So then the efficient cause, that means somebody assembled these elements and materials and built a house. Krishna is ultimately also this cause, because he glanced over Prakriti. This is how everything starts. He glanced over the material nature, and then she became agitated and Mahatattva. So Krishna is also the formal cause, because everything, all forms in this material world are a reflection of his spiritual form, Shyamasundara. So he is the form behind all forms. Everything follows his design. And then he is the final cause, because he sets the purpose. What is the purpose of this universe? Krishna knows the purpose. We cannot establish the dharma. Only Krishna can. So these are the 4 causes, and Krishna is all of them, directly or indirectly. Sometimes he's indirectly because he doesn't build personally. He doesn't create personally this universe. He has his own people to do, Brahma and other people. So these are the causes. And Krishna is Sarva Karma Karma. He's the cause behind all.
It's very interesting how, for a devotee, for someone who is spiritually advanced, it doesn't matter what's happens in his life, everything will be Krishna. Like directly or indirectly, he'll be always seeing Krishna. But for a non-devotee, generally he will not see Krishna. He will see something else, the different manifestations.
When he sees Krishna, he won't see Krishna. Then he will see someone. You say, "Oh, he's just ordinary guy."
Maybe in the best case, he can perceive to some extent the hand of Krishna. He may think,
all the enlightened ones in the history: Hermes, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Parama. He's just one of those.
Yes. So only the devotee can actually perceive that Krishna is all these causes. It doesn't matter what's happening in his life, directly or indirectly, he will see the hand of Krishna. The commentary on this statement is as follows. The expansion of Krishna, the Purusha Avatara, has an expansion in the form of Maya. Maya has an expansion in the form of the gunas. This is an explanation of the phrase Yasyamsha Amsha Amsha. By one very small portion of the gunas, the creation maintenance, and destruction of the universe take place. Therefore, I surrender unto you. So, Krishna is not, we will read little later, but Krishna is not taking care directly for the creation. Rather, his expansion, Maya, through his expansion, the gunas, the modes of material nature, is taking care for the whole creation. Creation is being produced, manifested, then creation is being maintained for a certain amount of time, and then creation is being destructed, disappears. So when the creation has to begin, the rajas, it's prominent. Then when the creation has to be maintained, sattva is prominent. And then when the creation has to disappear, tamas becomes prominent. And everything is destroyed. That's why it is said that through the gunas, Krishna is creating, maintaining, and manipulating the whole creation. Then in the verse we have the phrase Satchitananda Vigraha. So the form of Krishna is special form, spiritual form. Now Śrīla Jiva Goswami is dividing this phrase in three parts. Sadvigraha, Chidvigraha, and Ananda Vigraha. And he's explaining these three separately.
Some detractors.
What is the meaning of detractors? I'm not sure. Maybe you can check. Some detractors may stubbornly maintain that the roots Krish and Na simply mean supreme bliss and do not indicate a person. However, this part of the verse shows how the Lord possesses an extraordinary form full of eternal bliss. So some people are saying, wait a minute, why you are saying that we are speaking about the entity with the form, with the qualities, with the activities? No, we have the word Krishna, and Krish means existence, and Na means bliss. So this is just the supreme bliss. That's it. There is not entity. Why you are speaking about personality?
It's regarding or representing somebody as being of little worth. That means putting him down.
Okay.
Disparage.
So Śrīla Jiva Goswami is saying, no, the Lord has a form, Vigraha. And this form is just not ordinary form, it's eternal form, full with knowledge, completely conscious about everything, and full of bliss. This is the form of the Lord. So first, Sadvigraha. Sadvigraha means that his form does not change. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Devatas, headed by Brahma, pray. Satyavratam Satyaparam Trisatyam Satyaisya Yonim Nihitam Cha Satye Satyasya Satyam Ritasatya Netram Satyatmakam Tvam Sharanam Prapana. The demigods prayed, O Lord, you never deviate from your vow, which is always perfect because of whatever you decide is perfectly correct and cannot be stopped by anyone. Being present in the three phases of cosmic manifestation, creation, maintenance, and annihilation, you are the supreme truth. Indeed, unless one is completely truthful, one cannot achieve your favor, which therefore cannot be achieved by hypocrites. You are the active principle, the real truth, in all the ingredients of creation, and therefore you are known as Antaryami, the inner force. You are equal to everyone, and your instructions apply for everyone for all time. You are the beginning of all truth. Therefore, offering your obeisances, we surrender unto you. Kindly give us protection. Srimad Bhagavatam 10-26. And also Gopal Tapani says, Yo sao saure tishtati, yo sao goshi tishtati, yo sa ga palayati, yo sa gopeshu tishtati, govindan mrityur viveti. Beautiful verse. He is unchanging, free from birth and old age. So his form is completely spiritual. It's never going to be destroyed. And not like the material bodies. It doesn't matter if you have the body of an insect or human being or even Lord Brahma, at some point your body will be destroyed. But the body of Krishna is completely eternal. So he is unchanging, free from birth and old age. He who stays in Vrindavan is indivisible. That fears Govinda, who stays with the cows, who protects the cows, and who resides with the cowherd people. So even death is afraid from him. Everybody is afraid from death, but death is afraid from Krishna. There is a very nice verse in first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Apana samsmrite gora yatnama vivato grina tato sado vimucheta ya viveki swayam bhayam. Even if unconsciously once chants the holy name of the Lord, immediately he becomes freed from all sinful reaction. The name of the Lord is so powerful, ya viveki swayam bhayam, that even the fear personified is afraid from the name of the Lord. So,
the same message.
yes.
The chanting of the holy name after the way of the established authorities is the fearless and doubtless method for attaining perfection.
So the holy name can give freedom from fear and freedom even from the death itself. Everybody is afraid from death. And everybody is experiencing fear in this world without Krishna and without those who are protected by Krishna. Only they are free from fear and from death. Okay, so that was Sat Vigraha, that his form is eternal. Now Chid Vigraha. The statement, having a body of knowledge, Chid Vigraha, means that the form has the power to reveal itself to others because it is self-revealing. This accords with numerous statements from Shruti. Na Śāstra-cakṣuṣā pashyati rupam asya. One cannot see this form with material eye. The Lord reveals this form to whomever he chooses. Mundaka Upanishad 3.2.4. This point was also made explicitly to Lord Brahma immediately before the speaking of the Chatur Shloki. Quote, all of me, namely my actual eternal form and my transcendental existence, color, qualities and activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization, out of my causeless mercy. Mat Anugrahat, Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.33. Having received such inconceivable mercy, earlier Lord Brahma expresses his newfold realizations of this same point during his prayers to Krishna in the 10th canto. Your greatness is shown through your mercy to me, who have committed offense to you. That mercy consists of showing your sweet form after showing forms of great power, four-handed Vishnu forms. What is the cause of mercy? Your body is sva-icchamaya, responding to the desires of the devotees, who desire to see or serve you. Because of your affection for your devotees, you show mercy. Though I am an offender, because I have a semblance of devotion, I have attained qualification for a drop of mercy. Sarartha Darshini 10.14.2. Hence, Krishna cannot be understood by study of scripture, austerity, or yoga. He discloses the transcendental nature of his existence solely out of regard for his devotees. So basically, the idea is that Krishna reveals his form only to those who he chooses. And also it means that if he appears in front of someone, you understand him, you get a transcendental knowledge by his mercy. Just by seeing his form, you can understand certain things about Krishna. Yes?
Yeah, just like when he appeared in front of Brahma and touched him with his conch, and then Bhagavatam describes how all contaminations disappeared, and Dhruva Maharaj was able to offer very eloquent and beautiful prayers. Although in the beginning he was just, what should I say?
Stunned.
He was stunned, he couldn't say anything.
So just by getting in contact with the form of the Lord, you become completely conscious. You get transcendental knowledge. You understand the transcendental reality. This is the benefit, the blessing of getting in contact with the form of Krishna. And we know that the holy name of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. So it's the same principle. If you are in contact with the holy name of the Lord, the holy name can give you the complete spiritual transcendental knowledge and transcendental experience. Holy name can reveal everything to you. Can reveal the form of Krishna, can reveal the qualities of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, everything. Why? Because the form of Krishna is Chit Vigraha. Just by getting in contact with it, you're getting that complete spiritual knowledge. And then Ananda Vigraha. Jiva Goswami makes the following point in regards to the word Ananda. Ananda Vigraha means that Govinda is the abode of the purest, highest Prema, complete with all its components. This is made clear in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam as well. Quote, O Brahmana, how could the Kaura women have developed for Krishna, someone else's son, such unprecedented pure love? Love they never felt even for their own children. Please explain this. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14, 49.
Yeah, maybe you should explain the pastime.
The pastime is that Krishna, because Krishna was playing the role of ordinary cowboy, and Lord Brahma, he was expecting the Supreme Lord to appear. So he saw this cowboy and his activities in Vrindavan, and Krishna was bewildered. Brahma was bewildered. He was not sure if this is the Supreme Lord or not.
Because Krishna appeared in a very casual way. No, he's not like the Supreme Majestic Narayana.
Generally the Supreme Lord, he makes something that you understand, wow, that's the Supreme Lord. Like as Varakadev, he appeared from the nostril of Brahma. Some small entity appeared and then he became huge. And he started moving the earth. So it's like, wow. Or Matsya Avatara, that like giant fish. Like, okay, something special. This must be God because nobody can do this. Or like, I don't know, Kapila appears and gives like such a spiritual knowledge that you understand. Only God can give such a knowledge. So it's something very special, very ordinary. But Krishna, he pretends that he is just an ordinary boy and he plays with his boys and he's taking care for the cows.
And even when he kills demons, he does this in a very sweet way. He doesn't use some
weapons.
Yeah, he, like for example, Śāstra-cakṣuṣā with the car demon. You know the story? There was a demon who entered a car. And he was living inside this Puruchka.
A ghost demon.
Yeah. So Krishna just was laying
Under. Yeah.
under this cart, and Krishna, with his small, sweet legs, feet, he just kicked the cart, and that, look, you don't have to manifest some monstrous, gigantic form to do something. He was always acting in this very unpretentious, sweet way. So Brahma was bewildered, like many other people were. And he wasn't sure whether this is God or not. So he bet that this is not God.
And especially, he said, there is one verse which is describing how Brahma, because Krishna was taking prasadam with his friends, and the cows, they went a little bit far away. So the boys, they became a little bit disturbed. Oh, maybe we have to go and immediately bring them back. And then Krishna said, no, don't worry. You don't break your eating, your prasadam. Just relax, take your prasadam. I'll go and I'll bring them. Don't worry. And Krishna, he was just walking, and he, just before leaving, he took in his left hand a special preparation which is made from rice and yogurt and sugar, or something like a sweet rice. And he was holding this with his left hand, and it was like dripping down and making like his hand dirty.
It was very simple preparation. It's not like something very extra. It's simple.
Yeah.
Simple.
And Brahma, he was looking at this, and he could not believe that.
He's sitting with his left hand.
Like,
and he's supposed to be the supreme personality of Godhead. He just doesn't know that he's supposed to eat with the right hand.
And he cannot keep whatever he's eating, and he's just going through his fingers and just making him dirty. So
yeah, you want to tell me that this is God? Okay,
So Brahma, he had this doubt in the verse. I use the phrases Yagya book, Bala Keli, Yagya book, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the enjoyer of all the great yagyas and sacrifices. And here's this Bala Keli, this small boy here. I don't believe.
Because you should know about Brahma, he lives in Satyaloka, and there his deity, he's worshipping deities, so you guys also, many devotees. His deity is Mahapurusha. It's a form of Vishnu, and he's alive. So there are always some offerings, sacrifices, so many Brahmas chanting mantras, and constantly they're offering so many things, and he's eating everything. And everything is very majestic, these Brahmas chanting mantras. So this is his God, the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Śāstra-cakṣuṣā Purusha, described in Purusha Sutta. So when he saw Krishna, he couldn't fit these two together. They didn't match.
And then Brahma decided, okay, let me test him. And then he stole all the cowboys and the cows and put them in a cave, mountain cave, and put them to sleep. And now he wanted to see what Krishna is going to do. And just after one moment, when he came back, the boys were again there, and the cows were again there, and the cows were again there. So he was confused. What's happening here? Then he went back to see again in the cave, and the boys and the cows were there. He went back, they were also on the same place, so he became confused. So during this pastime, actually, the whole year passed. And what actually happened is, because Krishna was afraid that the mothers of the cowboys and the mothers of the cows, they will become very worried, where our kids, our children. So he manifested from himself all the cowboys and all the cows. And because they were all Krishna, and suddenly the mothers, they started feeling some exceptional love towards all of them. Why? Because that was Krishna. But yeah, here the point is, oh Brahmana, how could the cow women have developed for Krishna someone else on such a unprecedented pure love, love they never felt even for their own children.
So in other words, they love Krishna more than they love their own
Children, yes.
And this is normal because Krishna is the soul of the soul. Normal, it's a little difficult to understand, but at least it's logical. Because he's the dearest of the soul. He's the my heart and soul.
An answer to this question is given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. For the benefit of one's soul, one quotes other entities such as sons and objects such as house and somewhat dear. Krishna is the soul of the universe and the soul of all the souls. Just as sons are dear out of consideration of one's own body, and just as body is dear out of consideration of one's own soul, so the soul is dear out of consideration of the Paramatma. And Paramatma's perfection is Krishna. How is it possible for the souls covered by Maya to realize him? They cannot do this by showing affection to their children, but because the inhabitants of Raja were beyond Maya and full of bhakti, they had direct realization of Krishna. It was natural that they should show more affection for Krishna than their own sons. Sarartha Darshini 10, 14, 50, 54, 55. So do you understand this example? Like something which is connected with the body is dear to us. Like, for example, the example was given, your sons, because they are connected with your body, they are dear to you. Like out on the street, there are so many other kids, but they are not as dear to you as your own kids. Why? Because they are connected with your body. And in the same way, your body is dear to you. Why? Because it's connected with you, with your soul, with you yourself. And then the logic continues. Why your soul is dear to you? Because it's connected with Krishna, the Supreme Soul, the origin of everything, Paramatma. So, yeah, that's the example given here. Then the next explanation is the name Govinda, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchit Ananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda. What is the meaning of Govinda? Beginning with the verse Chintamani Prakara Satma Sukalpa Vriksha, Brahma-saṁhitā 5.25, the name Govinda will feature prominently in Sri Brahma-saṁhitā. Here Jiva Goswami explains its significance. Though Krishna performs two types of pastimes in Vrindavana and Dvaraka, the form as Govinda is the most worthy of worship, because Govinda is endowed with the most affectionate form, pastime, and associates. Thus, the Brahma-saṁhitā mentions the word Govinda to distinguish the Vrindavan Krishna from the Dvaraka Krishna. So, Krishna, he is present in different places. He is present in Vrindavan, he is present in Mathura, he is present in Dvaraka, and he is the same person, but he is performing different kinds of pastimes. And the sweetness is different amount in these different places. Here the name Govinda is used. Why? Because the name Govinda is especially connected with the pastimes of Vrindavan. Like in Dvaraka, Krishna is king. Yes, there is own reverence. He is not going to herd the cows on the fields. So this name Govinda is used from Brahma especially to show that he is speaking about Vrindavan Krishna, not about Dvaraka Krishna or Mathura Krishna. That's the meaning of the name Govinda used. Govinda, the Lord of the cows, should not be considered an inferior name, Because after Surabhi baited Krishna for his victory over Indra, Indra gave him the name Govinda as an honor. If Krishna is the shelter of all beings and then is called the shelter of the cows, it indicates that Krishna, as the Lord of the cows, is perfect in status. Calling Krishna Govinda, Lord of the cows, does not indicate a lesser being. The Gosukta says, sacrifices take place because of cows. The Devatas appear because of cows. The Vedas with their 6 sangas appear because of the cows. These cows have appeared on earth from the supreme planet of Goloka. In the Gopala Tapani Upanishad, Brahma himself states that he worships the Lord as Govinda. I, along with the Maruts, satisfy Govinda, the form of eternity, knowledge and bliss, who sits beneath a desire tree in Vrindavan. Lord Brahma, in his 10 canto prayers, expresses his unique realizations of the Lord's form as the cowherd boy. So this is just explanation to show that this name of Govinda is not inferior in any way to the name Krishna. Rather, it's like specifying on the name Krishna. Like, for example, you have connection with someone and you call him what kind of example shall I give? Yeah, for example, mother is thinking about her child, and the child name is, for example, George. But then a mother has another names which are connected with the very specific things that they were doing, very specific pastimes in a certain moment. That's, for example, that he is my George, that he was stealing sweets from the fridge when he was 5 years old. So this is especially dear name to the mother. Why? Because it's connected with something much more sweet and intimate. So in the same way, the name Govinda, it's not inferior name to Krishna. It's rather specifying a certain very, very sweet pastimes of Krishna. Now we have a quote from Srimad Bhagavatam. You have shown me the forms of Vasudeva, who previously was merciful to me by teaching the 4 verses of Bhagavatam. Your body, for the purpose of fulfilling your desires, Ichamaya, is the source of these Vasudeva forms. So your body fulfills your desires. It is not like our bodies, but it is spiritual. The greatness of this body, even I cannot understand, though I have revealed the Vedas and studied the fruit of the Vedas, Bhagavatam. I cannot even understand the greatness of your Vasudeva form. What to speak of the greatness of the source of those forms with human shape? What is the greatness of that human form? In this form, Krishna realizes his true happiness, which is rare even in other avatar forms. Through pastimes such as stealing yogurt, drinking the gopis' breast milk, herding the cows, and acting naughty. So basically, Brahma is explaining how, although he is like the most intelligent living entity in the universe, and he manifested the Vedas. He was the first being that got the knowledge from Krishna, and he manifested the Vedas. And he studied the Vedas, and he realized the knowledge of the Vedas. He studied Srimad Bhagavatam. He is saying, still I cannot completely understand your forms as Vasudeva. Vasudeva is the form of the Lord that is predominantly showing his majesty, his greatness, his opulence, These are like the different forms on the Vaikuntha planets. So Brahma is saying, even those forms I cannot understand completely. And not what to speak of your form as Krishna, who is showing such amazing things like stealing yogurt. He's the Supreme Lord. He has everything. He is the most powerful. He is the most popular. And he's going to steal yogurt from the gopis in Vrindavan. This is very bewildering. Brahma is saying, I cannot understand why God is going to do something like that. Which is beyond my intelligence.
Queen Kunti also, she says, you are from Krishna is afraid, the fear personified and still Krishna. When chased by Mother Yashoda, he was afraid and he was crying out of fear because she would catch him.
Yes.
Kunti Devi says this picture bewilders and confused us.
Drinking the gopis' breast milk. Why the Supreme Lord should do that? He needs food or what? Like he's the Supreme Lord. He has everything. Why he's going to do that?
This was Saint Paul's argument when he was preaching around the Roman Empire, preaching Christianity, and then he went to Athens, I think, and then he saw these people there worshipping different demigods, and they were having these little shrines, little temples for the demigods, and they were offering them clothes and food. And Saint Paul said, "Well, what kind of gods are those? God is all powerful. He doesn't need you to give him clothes or food." And then one devotee, because I heard this from one guru, and he said, when he was telling the story, he said, then I felt like telling Paul, if God can eat for himself, he also can speak for himself. He doesn't need you to go around the Roman Empire talking on his behalf. Because it's all relationship. He's taking it from the point of view of tattva or philosophical truth. God doesn't need, yes, he's Atmarama, he doesn't need, and then what? That means he doesn't need you either. So what is your relationship with him if he doesn't need you? So Krishna makes room for all of us, not that he needs, but out of affection. Prabhupada gives you the example of father and child, they're eating together, and then the child takes something and he offers the father. Actually, the father supplied all the food on the table. The child, out of affection, he offers to the father. The father is very pleased. So this is the relationship we have with Krishna.
He said that these pastimes of Krishna that he's manifesting in Vrindavan, they have a very special sweetness, especially his childhood pastimes. Like they have very particular sweetness. Like here it is mentioned, acting naughty. Like Krishna is the Supreme Lord. I mean, he has to be example for the whole universe, everybody to follow. And sometimes he goes to steal yogurt, and he's breaking the pots of the gopis and feeding butter to the monkeys, or like
until they cannot eat. They're so full that they cannot eat them. So then Krishna says, this butter is so bad, even monkeys don't want it. It's so useless. After they ate, right? Can you imagine? Monkey doesn't want butter. That means how much this monkey ate.
or like as a Lord Chaitanya here in Mayapur, one of his favorite pastimes was after school he was going to Ganga to take bath, and he was waiting for the Brahmanas to go in the water to chant their Gayatri, and he was going under the water and he was catching them for their feet, and he was pushing them while they are chanting Gayatri. Or another favorite pastime of his was he waits for the Brahmanas to go in the water and do all the ceremonies, chant all the mantras to become purified. And while they are coming out, he's waiting them with a mouth full of water, like this. And when they see, they're saying, no, Nimai, don't do this. You're going to contaminate me. And he becomes so happy. And then he just splashes them. Because mouth is considered impure.
Actually, they become most pure, but there's the past.
They were thinking, so they had to go again in the water and perform.
But also when the young girls, they were performing this kind of worship, they were worshiping Shiva. so that they can get a good husband. So Mahaprabhu would go there because they're offering so many different things, sweets, different garlands, sandalwood pop, and small Nimai would go there and steal everything, take away. And he would start eating these things, and they were horrified, all these young girls. Nimai, why are you doing this? This is from Shiva. And then he would say, if you worship me, actually, if you have to worship me, if you worship me, I'll give you blessing that you'll get very nice husband. But if you don't give me this sweets and garlands, then I'll curse you because I'm a Brahman. I can curse, I can give blessings. I'll curse you to get very old, irritable, poor, yeah, whatever, old, irritable, poor husband who has already like at least 4 wives, so will be the 5th one. And the girls were very afraid, so they'll give him everything, so he would enjoy the whole thing. They're very naughty.
So this is very unique, like this kind of pastime, very unique and very sweet. Like when Krishna and Balaram were very small, they were going to try to take care for the cows, but they were really small, so they were holding the cows for their tails. And suddenly the cows, they will become afraid and they'll start running and they'll fall down on the ground, but they will not let go the tail, so they'll be just dragging behind the cows. And that was so funny for Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda to see. So very special pastimes. Devaki and Vasudeva, who are other mother and father of Krishna, they are in some of their prayers, they are saying, we are so sorry we could not witness the childhood pastimes of Krishna.
Oh, Krishna and Balaram say the same. They're apologizing for that. We are sorry that we could not give you this mercy.
So very, very, very special pastimes. And this is what Brahma is saying in this verse. I cannot understand. Although I am the most intelligent living entity in the universe, although I gave the Vedas, I studied the Vedas, I studied Bhagavatam, and still I cannot understand this form of the Lord. This form of the Lord and these pastimes of the Lord, they are very, very special, very unique. And then the question may arise, then how can we understand? If Brahma cannot understand, how can we understand? Well, the answer is very simple, by the mercy of the pure devotees of the Lord. Because we have the opportunity to listen from pure devotees, that's why we can understand something about this pastimes of the Lord. And still, we understand very, very little. Okay, so with this, we are finishing our explanation of the first verse of Brahma-saṁhitā. And now we can proceed maybe for another 10 minutes or so. Text 2 to 6, Dham Tattva, Krishna's spiritual abode. Until now, we have learned of Shri Krishna's qualifications as the supreme controller, the embodiment of bliss, and the cause of all causes. In this verse, the Lord's eternal residence is identified and described. So now there will be description of the spiritual world, the highest planet there. Text 2, the 1,000-petaled lotus. Sahasrapatra kamalam gokulakyam mahatpadam tat karnikaram tat dama tat anantamsha sambhavam. Translation. The Dhamma of Krishna called Gokula is the supreme abode. It is the center pericarp of a lotus with 1,000 petals. We have a note. This is the central seed vessel which roughly resembles an inverted cone. So it's a lotus with 1,000 petals, and it is sustained by a portion of the spiritual energy of Baladeva called Ananta. Brahma-saṁhitā 5.2. Mahatpada means the most excellent place. In case there remain any doubt as to which part of the spiritual world is the topmost, or which of the Lord's forms is the highest, the following explanation is given. This verse presents the eternal Dham suitable for the form of Govinda. The meaning is made specific by adding the phrase Gokula Kyam. It is called Gokula. Thus, Mahatpadam does not mean Mahavaikuntha. So some commentators, they may say, oh, Mahatpadam, this is a phrase very commonly used for Vaikuntha. So that means Vaikuntha is the supreme place. No, that's why it's used the phrase Gokula Kyam, to signify that no, Gokula is even higher than Vaikuntha. And this abode is going to be described here. The convenient meaning of Gokula, literally a cow sheet, is the spiritual living place of the cower people of Vraja. In the same sense, it is said in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavan Gokuleshvaraha. He is the Lord of Gokula, the covered village. So directly the meaning of Gokula means cower sheet. So the place where the cows reside and the cower men reside. So it's very specific. We are speaking about Gokula, not about Vaikuntha or some other place. The constitutional nature of the Dham is also explained. It is manifested through his brother's potency. It exists eternally, Sambhavam, as a purely spiritual, self-effulgent portion of Baladeva called Ananta, Ananta Amsha. This is also understood from the Vaishnava scriptures Tantra, or the phrase can mean it is the dwelling place, Sambhava of Baladev, whose portion is Ananta, Anantamsha. So here in the verse it was mentioned Anantamsha Sambhavam. There are two meanings. One meaning is that the spiritual world is manifested by Anantadev, by this incarnation of Krishna Baladev. Baladev, he is manifesting material and spiritual world as well, but here specifically it is said that he is manifesting the spiritual world. And also Ananta Amsha, it may mean that Lord Baladev resides there, and his Amsha is Anantadev, who is in this material world. So both meanings can be taken. The transcendental entity of Baladev has two aspects: indefinite spiritual manifestation and infinite accommodating space for insentient gross things. The uniquadrant delineation of material universe will be dealt with in the proper place. The three-quadrant extensions of the transcendental infinitary field of the Almighty, unlamenting, non-perishing, and non-apprehending unlimited situations of a whole, which are fully spiritual, majestic foliation. So basically here it is explained that now this is the description of the spiritual world, who is three, how do you say in English? Three quarters from the whole creation. So 3/4 is the spiritual world and 1/4 is the material world. So here it is said that later we will be describing the 1/4, the material world. Now we are describing the spiritual world. Hence, Gokula, which is identical with Goloka, is the supreme plane. The same sphere shines as Goloka and Gokula respectively by its upper or transcendental and lower or mundane situation. Brahma-saṁhitā purport 5.2. There is a note here. In this passage, as well as in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the oneness of Gokula and Goloka is emphasized. In other places, however, distinctions are made, such as the spiritual world is divided into realms characterized by either sweetness, madhurya, or opulence, aishvarya. Similarly, within Goloka are different prakostas, chambers, wherein different types of devotional mellows predominate. In Goloka, there is an inner section called Gokula, which is predominant by sweetness. In Lagu Bhagavatamrita, for example, it is said that though the form of Krishna is the same in both, in Goloka, there is a mixture of reverence in the relationships. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in his commentary on Bhakti-yoga Sindhu 1, 2, 303 that those who worship Radha and Krishna with Vaidhi Bhakti attain Goloka, whereas those who worship Radha and Krishna with Raganuga Bhakti attain Gokula. This is described in detail later in this book. So, is it clear? Or basically, it is explained that this transcendental realm, Gokula, is manifested in two places. In the spiritual world, the highest place in the spiritual world, but at the same time, it is manifested in the material world. And it's not different, just there are two manifestations. That's why when when Gopkumar is advancing gradually within the universe, and then he goes to Vaikuntha planets, and then he sees how they are worshipping the Supreme Lord with awe and reverence. And when he sees the Supreme Lord and he's saying, Gopal, 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 and everybody is shocked. He's saying, we don't call the Supreme Lord Gopal here. You are mistaken. You are for some other place. So then Narada Muni comes and he's telling him, no, actually, I think you have to go to Ayodhya. They have a little bit different mood. Maybe you like this mood there. But then actually Narada Muni says he's not even for Ayodhya. And he's saying, no, actually, you know what? You have to go to Mathura. This is your mood, Mathura. There you can call the Supreme Lord Gopal. And then Gopkumar, he continues chanting his mantra and he's thinking he will go even higher because it's supposed that Mathura is a higher place. But then what's happening is actually he goes back and he comes back to the earth in this Mathura. And then he understands, wow, so actually this place is not different from the highest spiritual place in the spiritual world. So two manifestations of the same supreme abode in the spiritual world and in the material world. And also it is explained here that in the spiritual world there is like a higher realm which is known as Goloka. And this Goloka, there are different chambers, different what other word we can use? Yes, sections or like different rooms, we could say. And there is a slightly different mood in these different places, how the Lord is worshipped. And basically, the higher we go, the mood becomes more sweet and less awe and reverence, less less the mood of Vaikuntha planets. So in this Goloka we have Mathura, we have Dvaraka, we have Gokula, and they have slightly different mood. And Gokula is the highest place. Krishna can be himself completely 100% only in Gokula, nowhere else. Because in all other places he has to play some role according to what they expect him to do. Like in the Vaikuntha planets, he is expected to be the Supreme Lord. That's why, okay, I'm the Supreme Lord. Okay, I'm going to work. I'm going to accept the worship of everybody else. Only in Gokula he can be completely himself, Krishna, the Supreme Lord. And here also it is explained that through Vaidhi Bhakti, those who worship Radha and Krishna with Vaidhi Bhakti attain Goloka, whereas those who worship Radha and Krishna with Raganuga Bhakti attain Gokula. So what is the difference between Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti? Shortly, what is the motivation behind our worship of the Supreme Lord? When our worship is predominantly own and reverence, this is called Vaidhi Bhakti. You worship the Supreme Lord, but not because you have a spontaneous desire to worship Him. Rather, because of the instructions of the spiritual master or because of the instructions of scripture, you understand that this is the thing that we have to do. And that's why you're doing it. And you're doing it according to Vaidhi, according to different rules and regulations. But spontaneous expression of spontaneous love and attraction is not still there. Of course, this is like the first level of devotional process. We have to start from there. We cannot just jump on the higher level of Raganuga Bhakti. But the idea is that if someone wants to reach Gokula, then at some point his motivations should switch from the motivation I'm doing it because I have to do it. It doesn't matter if I like it or not. Motivation should change to actually I want to do it just to give pleasure to Krishna. So motivation is changing. The externals will not change much. The devotee will continue to do the same things. He'll be getting early in the morning, he'll be chanting his rounds, he'll be worshipping the deities. But motivation behind why he's doing it, it will be different. Motivation will be different. And gradually it is described also, by reading the different pastimes of Krishna, naturally he will feel attracted to a certain specific devotees of the Lord in a specific pastimes, and he want to follow these devotees. So that's the meaning of Raganuga Bhakti. You are attracted to follow those devotees of the Lord who have raga. Their heart is full with spontaneous attraction to Krishna. The residents of the spiritual world, they are known as raga bhaktas. They have natural attraction to Krishna. And those who follow in their footsteps, they are known as Raga Anuga, the personalities who are following in the footsteps of those personalities in the spiritual world who have Raga. So like that, through Vaidhi Bhakti you can enter into the Goloka, but most probably that means Vaikuntha planet, or Mathura, or maybe Dvaraka. But with Raganuga Bhakti, you can be attracted to the eternal associates of the Lord in Gokula, and you can achieve this destination. That's the idea. Okay, some questions? If not, we'll stop here and then we'll continue next time. Om Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki
Jai.
Nitai Gaura Premanande.